Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a great video because I'm going to show you the process of me packing to go and play Airsoft. Now I'm playing tonight in a place called Battle Lab. It's in East LA, indoor field, super fun, very close quarters. I love it because they do 5 to 10 p.m. games during the week, so weekends for me can get quite crazy. So actually just being able to go and play during the week is pretty awesome. And therefore what I'm going to do right now is show you guys what it takes to get ready to go and play. I'm going to be driving to the field, and so I need to make sure I can get everything in my car and get ready to go and not leave anything out. So I have a checklist. I'll go through it. I'm going to basically pack everything up and show you guys why I'm packing stuff up, how I kind of prepare for that. So hopefully it's kind of interesting to you. If you do the same thing, it'd be great to hear about it. If you have any questions, as always, put them in the comment section below, and we'll go through this little prep session for me playing tonight at Battle Lab. So, first things first, this is something which I've only started using fairly recently. I actually used to just use a ton of different bags and I would just put my stuff in bags. This is called a Plano Sportsman's Trunk. And why I love this is because it's a big box. I can just throw all my stuff in there, not have to worry about packing stuff, zips, like fitting stuff in. Has like a little catch thing, and then it's also got wheels. This end of it here, so I can literally just grab it out my car, almost grab it like a suitcase and just wheel it straight into the field, set it up. When I'm in the safe zone, I didn't need to worry about like, oh, where's my stuff? I can just kind of throw it into this box, close the box when I want to leave, bring it back, and then sort it out when I get home. So that is my first kind of upgrade that I've had recently to my gear. And what I'm going to do now is just go through all of the items in my checklist, and then I'm going to put them in there, make sure I've got them. And then before I leave, every time I'll do a checklist through. So the first thing we're going to talk about is my primaries that I'm going to run today. So what I've decided to run for my primaries is I'm going to be taking this guy out for the first time, my TOXICANT XM5. I'm very, very excited to use this. I tried to use it maybe a few weeks ago. And unfortunately, at the time, I had an issue with the bolt that I had to get repaired and fixed, or get a fresh bolt, actually. But I'm very, very excited to use this tonight. It's probably not the best CQB weapon for like actually being in there. I mean, it's short. However, because I play indoors and I want to be able to kind of see where my BBs are going, I use tracers. So I've got a tracer right here that I'm going to be using. So as you can see, once I actually have this installed on the XM5, like the length of it is not the shortest. I've obviously got a magnifier here. So I'm going to take this with it on just to show my friends how cool this thing looks when I get to the field. But I will actually remove this. There's obviously a risk of this thing getting shot out, which I don't really want to go through. So I'm going to remove that. It's just for right now, I'm going to keep it on there, because using the magnifier at close quarters is really pointless. And even if I use it in that retracted format, this has got a risk of getting hit with BBs and shot out. So there's no point in risking that. The Romeo 8T, which is this sight on here, ideal because it's got this little like kill flash like screen on the front of it. So that should protect it from BBs, or that's what I'm hoping. So that's covered. I've got a lens protector actually on my Surefire right here. I'm running this Somo gear. So the idea for me really is when I play indoors, I like having right now the ability to have my flashlight, a laser, and my tracer. So as you can see here, I've got my flashlight. I've got a laser, which you may be able to see there, but it's a green laser. So I need to make sure that is zeroed before I go. I've actually zeroed in Airsoft. It's kind of like a general term, but I have zeroed the red dot on here, so I know that that's good. Obviously flashlight, I don't need to zero. And then I have also, I need to zero just the laser. It's kind of easy to do because I know the distances I'm going to be playing. So what I'll probably do is I'll take a few shots just to zero it, but really I can just zero it to the red dot. I know where like my kind of average length's going to be. I can just literally place the replica there. I can look at where the red dot is, and then I can adjust the laser into that location. Again, I wouldn't do that with a real steel, but you can do that with Airsoft. So that's pretty awesome. Hop up adjustment, I don't really need to worry about because it's pretty close quarters, as I said. Hop-up doesn't come into play in the same level. And one thing I also have done is I've charged my tracer unit. So I've got actually a Smoky Wolf tracer in here, which has made sure it's actually charged so I can use it. And that is going to be definitely exciting to see. It's going to be very dark, so I don't really think the smoke effect of it's really going to make much difference in terms of what it looks like. But if I get it on camera, it'll look cool for you guys, so it's worthwhile doing. Prep-wise, I need to make sure this is lubed up. I've kind of put my lubrication in there, so I know that it's looking good and it's going to work well. I'm not expecting any issues with this. It is a very new replica, and I have played around the internals, but generally it should be hopefully pretty reliable. Mags-wise, what I am going to do, not in this video because it'll be quite boring for you guys, but what I am going to do is make sure I have enough mags, so I'm going to do that now, and that they are all gassed and they have BBs in them. I won't put BBs in the mags the day before because it's just going to like affect the spring. It's going to like, you know, it's going to reduce the springiness of the spring if I use it in future. But that day, I don't really want to get to the safe zone, spend all my time reloading my mags, etc. So I'm actually going to just do that before I leave. So I have a box right here, which has my XM5 mags in there. So I've got 1, 2, what are we going to do? 3, 4. So normally with my setup, I'm going to have 3 mags here. I'm going to have a backup mag, or sorry, my primary reload mag, and then a backup mag on the back. So I want to know that I've probably got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll have one for my actual replica. So probably 6 mags, and then I'll want maybe 1 or 2 as a backup if one of those mags, the feed lips break, the seal's not good, whatever it is. Having an extra mag or 2 is going to be good. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to take 9 mags with me. So that's my 9 mags. So after this video, I'll probably do a short video of this as well, just me showing how I load up all my mags and make sure everything's ready. But those are the 9 mags that I need. And now I've got that done. I've got the stocks there already. I've got the sights done. I need to make sure I've got a sling. So this is the sling that I'm going to be using. And I know that I already have my sling points on here. So what I'm actually going to do now is just attach it so it stays with the replica and I know that I've got it. And then with this, guys, what I actually do is I'll put this not in that bag. I'm going to put this in, sorry, not that in the case. I'm going to put this in a separate gun bag. Obviously, it's much more valuable. I want to make sure that it is padded and looked after and it's not being thrown in with all my kit. So I'll put this now in this gun bag. This right here is made by Savior. I really like these gun bags. I've done a review on these before, but it has kind of 2 slots in there. So that's going to be where I'm going to put this. So that is done. Primary is taken care of. Right, next thing that I'm going to do is my second primary. And so what I've decided to take today is going to be my Tokyo Marui Saiga 12 SBS. I've got a separate gun bag for it here, so you guys can see how I run this one. This is going to be right here. I'm actually going to move these mags out the way so that we don't have that blocking our incredible view of what we're doing. 6mm Badger mug, my swag. If you want to get those, I think there is a link where you can go and buy them. Patches and things you can't get, but if you're a member and you win stuff, I send those out if you're not aware. Okay, so this is my Saiga 12 SBS. I really like this for indoors. Like, it is perfect for indoors. Obviously, it's full auto if I want it to be, but I never use it full auto really. Because it fires at quite a low FPS, I'm allowed to use it in that format. But again, it's not something that I'd really do. The actual rate of fire on it is really, really good. It's got a little bit of movement there. Actually, that's all right. A little bit of movement in the pistol grip there, but that's fine. Tracer on it. So this is the Quark C tracer. That is great because it's a shotgun tracer. Made sure I charged that already. This is the flashlight. This is an Olight flashlight and green laser that I have here. Need to make sure that is charged. And unfortunately, I can't find a front handrail for this, which actually is going to just let me mount that. So what I've had to do is just take some of this tape and actually just tape that onto it. It doesn't really matter. What I am going to do sometimes is just use this here. I can put my thumb in place and do it. And then obviously I just need to be careful that it doesn't get in the way of the reciprocating bolt. Also I have a Sig Romeo 3 Max red dot on here, Unity Tactical Fast Riser, and I think that's about it. I got a Federal Concepts charging handle, mag pull, foregrip, and then a mag pull stock on here as well. This is just great for indoor. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a less practical XM5 out. So I'm just going to have this probably as a backup. I may well just take this out halfway through the day and just decide I'm going to use this instead. But this is going to be my second primary. I always bring two primaries when I'm playing with gas blowbacks. Normally bring two primaries anyway. But if one of them goes down, one of them goes wrong, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm stuck there and I can't actually use it. Like it's just not kind of what I'm wanting to do. So, you know, sitting there and watching all your friends play as you can't play is absolutely horrible. I think I've only had that happen once, but yeah, it's not good. I got a sling here as well, which is another kind of QD mounted sling. I could have the option to run that as a 1 point as well, which I think for this is pretty good. You've probably seen some of my videos before of how I run these, but I can just switch this right here into this little spot, and then I have 1 point, which for shotgun's pretty cool. And then as I'm kind of playing with it, if I need it to, like that, if I'm going to left shoulder, I may well do that. And then I have the option, like this sling definitely is not quite as like movable as some of my other ones. I may actually end up just using the other sling that I've got for my XM5 because they're all QD. It kind of doesn't matter how they are. This is the band that actually they use at Battle Lab. So what they do is they chrono your replica at the start of the day, and they'll say, hey, this is firing at this FPS, therefore you should use this band on it. And that is kind of saying, look, like it's a lower FPS, therefore you can fire it at closer range, full auto. If it's like a different color, like a yellow band, I think you need to be like 10-foot distance. That's probably what my XM5 is going to be. Whereas this thing, I can basically use it, you know, like 5-foot distance, which I think is really good as well for a shotgun. It's kind of what you want. So that's going to be my second primary. I've got a separate bag for this. I was actually going to bring my MPX-K as well, because that is, again, it's a fantastic thing for CQB play. But I've decided I'm probably just going to stick with these two. When I have multiple replicas, I always feel this need to use all of them. And so then I start switching all my gear around. I then get my MPX-K out. So what I've decided to do is just stick for today with either XM5 or shotgun. Try and play a lot more with the XM5 than the shotgun, but that's there. Obviously, what I do need then as well is I need to get my magazines for that. And I have, in this same box, my Saiga mags. So again, I'm probably going to need 1, 2, 3. The other advantage actually of running both of these is I use the same mag pouches. They're both big mags for both the Saiga 12 and the XM5. Like the Saiga's probably slightly bigger, but it means that the mag pouches that I use are going to be the same. So again, I don't have to switch like, okay, I need an MPX-K kind of SMG style plate carrier or chest rig. I can just stick with these. So that's what I'm going to do. For this, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's probably all I'm going to need. I actually have a couple of extra. Where are my extra? I need to find 2 more, which I think, yeah, I've got one here, an extra one here, and then I have one more actually just in my garage at the back. So I'll get that out. I need to make sure all of these are charged as well. So I'll put this down over here. And I'll put these guys over here. And again, what I need to make sure is all of these are gassed up. All of them, I haven't got leaks or issues with them. So I need to test them. And then I've got all of my Saiga mags and all of my XM5 mags, which hopefully then neither of those go wrong. But if they go wrong, then I've got backups for them. Next, what I need to do is get my secondary. Now, a lot of the time I'll bring a pistol, which you probably think, yeah, of course you bring a pistol. What else are you going to use as secondary? So I'll use this, my Glock 45, or something with a tracer unit on it. I've got another Glock 45 which has a tracer, just because it's indoors and it's dark. What I've actually decided today is I'm not going to bring a pistol. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to run a secondary. Last time I played at this field, you can see I've got a large selection of secondaries there that I could use. Last time I played at this field, I used something which was, as I was using it, realizing this thing is kind of very unfair. And you've probably seen a couple of the shorts on the channel, but this thing is an absolute monster and it's so satisfying to get eliminations with it. So I decided to stock up on this thing, get a lot more rounds for it, and I'm going to show you what that is right now. This is what I'm going to be using. This is an Agilite tactical backpack. I love this thing. It's actually really great. So if you're thinking about what kind of backpack should I bring, is just like a take it to the field, or my other option is I can run this with my chest rig and just have that as a backpack if I need to carry stuff. Obviously with my plate carrier, I've got more, I've got a better way of taking stuff, but this is going to be what I'm using today as my secondary. This thing is awesome. It is the Volcano from Acetech. It looks slightly different because I put a dye-free, just turned it on. I've put a dye-free grip on this thing. I've got a little sling mount here, so if I need to sling mount it, then that's great. And then the other thing that I've done, which is the major thing, is I have put this in here, which is the ELS from Safariland. I'm going to show you in a minute when I show you my battle belt. But what I actually did is I've shaved down the edges here, because before, when I used it, and I have it in my ELS, when I drew it, I'd have to like pinch these bits to get it out, which means I'd need two hands. Because I've done this on the ELS, I tested it yesterday, and I should just be able to draw it like I'm drawing from a regular holster. So this thing is going to be pretty nasty. The reason it's so good on camera is because it has a built-in tracer unit. You can kind of see there. And so when this thing fires from one of these Acetech 40mm grenades, it's firing like 100 BBs with tracer all at the same time. So you just see this like boom of like gas going up. Again, I've got clips of it. If you want to see what this thing is performing like, I will hopefully get a ton of like video tonight that you can see as well. But this thing, I like a couple of the hits that I got with it, I just heard this, oh, or like, what was that kind of noises as I hit the people. And if you can imagine, going around a corner with a pistol is very effective because you've got that like short, you know, you're not having to expose yourself. You don't have a primary where you're only able to lean. You know, you can kind of dip around a corner. This thing is basically the length of a pistol, you know, a big pistol, maybe like a Desert Eagle kind of thing. But it does mean that when I look around a corner and I just do that, it's like I've got a grenade going off, all from like the place that I have. So even if a tiny bit of someone is showing, I can take them out very easily. And it's not firing at the hottest FPS, so it is able to just shoot from very close range. So I'm very excited, but instead of running a pistol today, I'm just going to run that. And I have got, I think, 9 different shells for it. So this is a dangler from Haley Strategic. This is a new one that I have for 40mm. This is a real steel, but I'm going to run this right here so that I've got my secondary, and then I've also got an unlimited supply of these things that I can just put into different opponents. So I'm really, really excited to use this. As I said, if you're interested to see, if you have questions, put them down below. But if you're interested to see how this thing performs, I should have quite a lot of gameplay today to show you. So I like to keep this almost separately in here. I'll almost have a separate supply of 0.2 gram tracer BBs that I'll load into that. And with the actual, with this one, it has this fast loading system, which I absolutely love. So I can just load those up super quick. Otherwise, trying to load a load of 40mm grenades would not be the best. So that is my 2 primaries and my secondary done. I will show you just what my whole setup, one of my setups is going to look like with the XM5 with that secondary on there. So then it kind of is interesting to you guys. I say that a lot, so it's interesting for you guys. Of course it's going to be interesting. You're still watching the video. Well, hopefully it's still interesting and you haven't stopped watching the video. So I've got the Volcano Launcher. I've got 9 grenades. I've got the launcher with the sling attachment. And I've charged that unit. I need to double check that actually because I can't remember if I did that. Next thing I do is I'm going to have my grenades. I have this, which is like an Evike little plastic fake ammo case. This is great because I can just throw a load of grenade stuff in here. So what I'll do is I have 3 of these. These again, like, so you can imagine I'm such a grenade heavy player when I'm playing CQB. I'm going to have 9 shells with that Acetech Volcano. And then I'm going to have 3 of these, which are the Matrix shower BBs. When I play at Battle Lab, they don't actually allow kills with these, the Thunder Bees. This is like a distraction grenade, distraction device. So it will go off and make a loud bang. And people run from it because it's insanely loud. Like inside, it just reverberates. Like I have contact ear that cuts it out, but this thing is so loud and it actually scares people. So you can use it very effectively, but you can only really get kills when BBs hit people. And so these I don't use when I play outside, but actually being able to just pop that round the corner and getting like a hit or someone seeing it come around the corner, they flinch or they run out the room, and then you can kind of follow it around. Issues that I find, or not issues, but one of the things I find with playing CQB is you can very easily get pinned in places. And so if you're in a doorway and there are people firing on the doorway, it's very hard to get through that unless you're like going back and around a different route. And so what I find is really good is just being able to put that in, and then you're almost like giving yourself a second to break into that room. Obviously you may get hit, people may not look away, but if I can throw that round, I know the grenade's going off, I hear it go off, and then I follow around the corner, especially with that volcano, then it really gives our team an opportunity to get past the doorway, a corridor, whatever that is. So I have 3 of those. I actually have these, which is the unobtainium gear mag pouches. You can see in here, I've got 2 of them already. These are the smoke grenade pouches from unobtainium gear. Perfectly fit this, perfectly fit the Thunder Bees. Like I've got a Thunder Bee in this one. And I have these mounted on different Safari Land. They do a Safari Land to Molly adapter. And I have this mounted right here on a QLS mount, so I can attach this to where I would normally carry my secondary. And then I also have this one on an ELS, which is the smaller mount, which I can carry on my battle belt, where I have ELS inputs, like the female input, so I can put those in there. So that is, again, grenades that I have set up. So I've made sure that those have all been gassed. They're all filled with BB, so I don't need to do that before the game. And then also I've kind of put the CO2 capsule into the Thunder Bee, got that ready. If you're not aware, these have got a CO2 capsule inside them. I've obviously got a pin there that I pull. Pin basically has a hammer that pierces the top of the CO2. CO2 starts to leak into here. This expands, this pops, makes a loud bang. And so I need to make sure that these are set up and ready to go. So I'll have probably 2 of those Matrix shower grenades and 1 of these Thunder Bees on me for each game. And then I'll have, obviously, all of the volcanoes on me as well. So I'm hoping that that should be a pretty horrible thing to come up against. So that's my grenades done. Okay, comms. I have this, which is my Team Wendy helmet. You may think, what is all this on the top of it? I'm actually just using this as storage right now for my cameras. I am actually going to be testing out the new Helmet Cam 4K. So that's in place, ready to go. And I'm quite excited, for when I'm going to be able to test this out and show you guys the footage. GoPro here, I may run this at the same time. I'm not sure, but I'll probably just go with the Helmet Cam 4K. I have a spare one of my old ones. So one of the guys I'm playing with today, I'm just going to give this to him. But when I all have it on the helmet, I know that that is where my stuff is, and like I'm not thinking, where's my camera, I know that this is where it is, so I can just put this in that box by itself and I'm good to go. I have my contacts here, my contact 5s on these axle adapters. So that basically means that my actual PTT here is just ready to plug in, and then I have comms with my teammate. I'm probably going to plug it into a Baofeng, but I have a couple of radios to run that through. Then I also have my X-Fog on the back here, which is the kind of X-Fog, the fog unit. Has a little fan in here, blows air through these tubes down here into the front, and this basically just clears the fog from inside my glasses, gets rid of sweat. I sweat a lot, and especially indoors. Like indoors, I sweat way more than I would do outdoors, depending on the temperature. But if I don't have these, within about 5 minutes, I'm fogged up and I can't see anything. So that is so important to me, is this X-Fog unit. So that's going to be on the back there. I'm not running night vision, don't need to do that. And it's just kind of pointless. There's enough light in there that I can see. But that is my helmet done. Next thing I need to do is get my battle belt. So this is the standard battle belt that I use. I've actually ordered another one from Agilite, but this is the Magnetics battle belt that I love because it has these magnet attaches on here. So I know exactly where these attach, and I know that it's going to sit in exactly the same spot every time. This is obviously multicam, so I've got a Ranger Green version coming that I'm going to build out for CQB. But this is my standard battle belt that I pretty much use for everything. If you've seen some of my gear loadout videos, you've probably seen me kind of do this. I'll do a quick overview of it. But it's a Magnetics battle belt. Tuck this in so you guys can see that. Magnetics battle belt. I have this little catch on here just for hooking gloves onto or anything I need. Normally I'll use this in the safe zone. I have a pistol mag pouch. I'll keep it there, but realistically today I'm not planning on using that. I could put a speed loader, pistol style speed loader in if I wanted to, but I probably won't do that either. That's an STAC Kiwi. I have one of my Haley Strategic mag pouches. These are great because they will take this, they will take an AR mag, they'll take a Saiga 12 mag. So this is like my go-to, it will take everything, which is why I normally just keep it on my universal battle belt. There are mags pouches that I like better or a little bit more, they're not quite as protruding, which I prefer, but like this is just great to have this on here because it just does everything I need. This is my dump pouch, T-Rex arms. Absolutely love this thing. I've gone through this before, but it has this hook. It's got mesh at the bottom, and just in terms of like a dump pouch, it's my favorite that I found. This is where the actual magnets are, so I keep that free. This is actually a grenade for my Quake 8. I'm not going to use that because they don't allow pyro, but I generally just leave that on there. I probably could see if a 40mm would fit there. Let me test that. See if a 40mm grenade will go in that. I don't think so. No, I could put a 40mm in there. So that could be one of the places that I keep an extra 40mm if I need it, which actually probably is something that I'll do. Next to that, I have my backup pouch, which is for my whatever I'm running, probably the XM5 to start with. It's in an awkward position, and it's not somewhere normally that I use it unless I really need an extra mag. These are like 28 round mags, so there's a strong chance I could need that. So I'll always run one there, but the amount of times I'll actually use it is pretty small. This is an ELS fork that I have here. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these on here so that I have a Thunder Bee. I could use this or not use this depending. Because I'm not running an actual secondary from here, then for me it kind of makes a lot of sense that I've just got an extra one if I need it, but I'm undecided if I'll use that or not. But that is my Thunder Bee location. I've then got this Safariland drop leg holster. platform. Absolutely love this. I've attached onto it a Safariland QLS mount and then 2 ELS mounts. The reason I think this is going to be great is that I can basically take this QLS, and again, this is where I'd normally run my pistol, but I'm going to have 2 grenades here that I can just slot right in here. And I've got 2 grenades there, which I can use, no movement at all. I then have my Acetech Volcano, and because I've bolted on a ELS mount on here, I can take this and I can slide that into that position. So with this one leg, I'm going to be carrying a lot, and it's not a huge amount of weight because it's airsoft, you know, it's not like 40 mil grenades that actually weigh a ton. But basically that means now I've got grenades here as I need them, and then I've just got this where I can draw this as my secondary. As I said in the previous one, I've shaved these nubs down because when I had this in the ELS previously, I would have to basically take both hands. So I'd have my sling with my primary, I'd dump that in some way. I'd have to take both hands and then remove that out. Because I've shaved these nubs, it actually will hang in place. It's not going to like pull out, but it almost is that like a Kydex holster now, where with force, that is now coming out. So basically, I'm going to be running this. It's going to allow me to have, I'll keep my Thunderbee there as well. It's going to allow me right here to basically just have a complete explosive zone, which I'm pretty excited about. And that is it on the battle belt. Now, I'm going to run 2 different modes of my kind of like chest rig and my plate carrier today. I'm probably going to I was going to just run a chest rig, but then I thought actually I might just want to do a plate carrier instead. I'll show you my chest rig setup, and then I'll show you my setup for my actual plate carrier. So I've got the first tubes quick release here. I'm going to put this on. This is an unobtainium gear H harness with a placard for the M110. Which again, like I love these mag pouches again because they're actually going to fit both my Saiga mags, and they're going to fit my XM5 mags. Because I normally, and you'll see in a second, I have my PTT attached and like kind of taped onto my plate carrier. With this, I've got like a push to talk that I can just attach here. And it means that I can have the option right here to have this into a radio pouch. I'll probably put a radio pouch right here. So then I've got access to it, and I can, if I want to, go to the chest rig, take my helmet set up, plug this straight in there, and then I have either radio on the chest rig or I have radio on my plate carrier. But this would be, I think, my kind of minimal setup where I've kind of got that. I'll probably remove these 2. That allows me to kind of get a lot more in there. But what I can do is take this dangler instead, and I will just put that in the place of here. So I will have 3 mags here, depending on which primary I'm using. I'll have 5 different volcano rounds. I've got another one in the actual volcano. Again, I've turned that on. I'm going to have another one here, and then I'm basically going to have grenades, 2 matrix grenades, 1 Thunderbee, 5, 6, 7 actual M203 grenades on me. So it's going to be just a grenade, like a grenade show. It's going to be like a fireworks display. But that's probably what I'm going to put there. Then what I'm actually going to do is, if I don't run this, I'm going to run the thing that I normally run instead. And I'm actually probably going to start off with this just for ease. Like, it's a lot easier for me just to use it. But this is probably going to be like my backup. If I'm getting too hot, I can just switch to that. But what I'm going to use is this, which is my plate carrier. I love this thing. Pretty much use it for outdoors all the time. Sometimes I will use it for indoor and like CQB. But this has real plates in it. It's a Haley Strategic plate carrier, SPC, and it's super lightweight. I just realized my mic is going to be here. Super lightweight, so it's kind of like use it for everything. The magnet I use to attach my actual thing is right here. So I'm going to use this here. But I can basically use this. And I, again, have a placard with these Haley strategic mag pouches on here. As you can see, I've got my PTT, which is taped in. So I can't really remove that and then put it onto the chest rig, which is why I've got a separate one on the chest rig. But again, this, as you've seen, will take either of these mags. So I can now run 3 mags on here, a 4th mag. I'm just showing you like a mix here. 4th mag there, 5th mag here, which I've already got in there. And then I'll have my one, which I keep in my replica. So I'm going to have my 6 mags of either the Saiga 12 or my XM5. As you can see, secondary grenades. And then instead of having this dangler, what I'm probably going to do is put this one in to start with. In fact, we can just do that now. So you guys can see, I just need to move this here, pull my general purpose dangler out. Oh no, actually, I've got this attached here. There we go. So I've got that attached there. I actually just I kind of elastic these in so that I can, so it kind of keeps it closer to my body. I don't have to mess around. This is from Agilite, this general purpose dangler. What I actually keep in here is a fake dagger because I've got a real one that I attach on here. So for actual gameplay, I will keep that one in. Then what I need to do is put this guy in here, and I'm not really looking at it because I'm looking at you guys. So I'll probably go slightly higher on that, like there. And then I've got my 5 to make sure this is looking good for the photos. So I've got that there. I've got my 5 here. I then need to just place these on top, make sure they're keeping that dangler in place. And then this is the side that I'll always remove. I'll nearly always just keep this one right there. And then I have this here as I need it. So that means now I have dangler with 5 things for this. I've got an extra one in the back. Why do I keep hitting that? It's so funny. I've got my plate carrier and I've got this on the back, which I don't think I'll need the actual thing, but actually I could put a couple of extra 40mm grenades in there. So if one of the guys I'm playing with just wants to help out, then I could kind of have 2 in there and then I'm good to go. But this is probably how I'm going to start out. I'll have my XM5 and then this. Other things that I have got is my face protection. So what I will usually do is keep my face protection in here. I've got my NB Tactical mesh. I've done a whole thing on face protection, so you can go and watch that video if you want. But I've got NB Tactical lower. I've got NB Tactical balaclava that goes over. I have these Halo sweat mounts so that it stops sweat from running down my face with a solid bar there. I then also have my Oakley M frames with an insert that actually just runs the X-Fog tubes directly into the top of them. So that is blowing air just into my actual face. So that's kind of what I make sure. I try and keep all my Face Pro and my gloves in one thing. It's a Safari Land, but it's just, some packaging that I had. So I kept hold of that. And then the other things that I do is I will have my footwear. Normally when I travel to the field, I travel in civvies, I'll travel in regular normal clothes, and then I'll get changed in this in my car outside. Then I'll switch over. But these are Continental kind of hiking boots. I find these for indoor for me are perfect. They've got enough grip where if I'm running on BBs, I'm not going to slip, but they're not full tactical boots, which I think is kind of a great intermediate. They're very light. It's almost like having kind of hiking boot trainers. Sometimes I will just run with trainers or sneakers, and that's great as well. But these are fairly recent purchases and I really like those. Then I'll make sure I have gas. So this is all green gas in here. Normally I'll take 3 or 4 cans of it just because I'm going to be running gas. Everything on here is just going to be full gas, so I need to make sure I've got that in place. And then radio is another one, and radios, so these need to be charged. I've got my radio pouch here, which has actually already got one in, and then I'll have a toolkit as well, just in case anything goes wrong. Need to have like batteries in there as well as my little tools, bits and pieces. Extra mags, CO2 capsules, and then the big one is BBs. Need to make sure I've got 0.25 gram tracer BBs because that is what is allowed at this field. They don't allow heavier weight BBs, so that's what I'll go with. And this is the Vanguard speed loader. I'll also make sure I have 2 other speed loaders in case this goes wrong. And CO2 capsules, again, in case that goes wrong. Sorry, not in case that goes wrong, for my actual Thunderbees. So that is something that I need to remember. Otherwise, my Thunderbees are useless. Thunderbee shells as well I need, as well as the cores. And on top of that, I will always bring one of these. So an external power bank. If I need to charge tracers, if I need to do anything like that, it means that I've got that option charged to 100%. So I'll make sure that's it. So guys, I think that's probably everything I'm going to need. Right now, if you're watching this and you're like, hey, what about that? You completely forgot that. Then definitely comment that. But I think right now what I'm going to do is just put all of this stuff straight in there. Like all I've just noticed is that is pushing these 40 mils out slightly. So I need to be careful of like how I'm running these. If I run them slightly higher, slightly lower. But I think this kit right now is feeling pretty good. Oh, other things I'm going to run is this is the new Battle Lab. So it's actually made by the site that I'm going to. You can buy them from Evite, but this is the Battle Lab t-shirt. I think this is really cool. It's kind of like a very breathable material. And then these are my UF Pro trousers. These are incredible. So expensive. But they have knee pads here, which are perfect for indoors. They don't need to be super hard wearing because it's indoors. But the ground is hard, and so if you're going down on one knee, it's definitely not the most fun experience to be like kneeling on a hard surface. So therefore, like these for me are absolutely perfect. So I'll show you quickly just my stuff here, just with the XM5 on it, and then maybe that just gives you an idea of what my getup's going to look like. Hopefully, I will have some content from tonight so you can see what it looks like in more detail. But this is probably first game what my setup is going to look like. There, yep. And then this will be my thing. This thing is heavy, so this is not going to be a lightweight thing to run. Like it's going to be, let me just get this so you can actually see my kit. There we go. So hopefully that pulls around. So yeah, this is not lightweight. So this is not going to be the easiest thing to be like playing around with and, like being super subtle, but it looks really cool. And so therefore this will be me here. And then probably what I'm going to end up doing is if I'm coming around corners, it's just going to be a draw to this, bang, bang, or bang, reload this. That's going to be the other thing that I need to get used to, is like a reload here is going to be that to the dump pouch, and then one of these is going to be hard to get out. So I need to make sure I might hang this a little bit lower just so that I can get easier access to those. And maybe I'll do kind of like an indexing where I go to this one first and then I'll just shift them over. But that is now something that I'm kind of realizing is not going to be the easiest, although I could probably just grab this out and then kind of play around with it. But yeah, that's going to be something I'll tinker with now before I set off. So guys, hopefully this has been interesting. This is kind of like the setup that I'm going for tonight. That's the process that I'll do. Normally takes at least an hour to make sure I've got everything. I have a list on my computer so I can go through, and then normally just before I leave, I'll do that double check. And luckily with this site, there is actually a Evite like outpost just outside. So if I do forget something, I'm like, I can actually try and get something there before the games start between 5 and 6. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's been me getting ready for a game of Battle Lab. If you have any questions, as I said, put them down below, and I will see you very soon on the next video. Goodbye.